All right, here we are for another episode of In the Sheds. I'm here with the infamous Mr. Simon Carroll. How are you, mate?
Not bad, mate. How you going?
Mate, very, very well. Mate, I'm in the shed, and I must say it's a pretty impressive shed. You got a few toys here.
Yeah, it's not bad. The floor's a bit crud, but what's in the shed's pretty cool.
This place would have some stories, hey?
Yeah, I reckon. Yep.
What's been happening in here most recently, mate?
We've been getting the hatchback Tirana ready to go to the New Year's Nitro this weekend, which I've just found out's been postponed to Australia Day weekend, so we were all ready to go up for that. And we've been getting the Camaro ready for 275 radial this year, and maybe a few other events, maybe a bit of Pro Mod racing. And
that's the one I want to talk a lot about, because like I'm sitting here looking at it now. We'll have a look at this in a minute if you haven't seen it. It's broken internet, but it is a piece of art. What inspired it, mate?
Just want to go fast. Go as fast as I can in a car with doors.
I feel like that's the combo to do it.
And steel roof and quarter.
Actually, so screw blown Hemi.
Screw blown Hemi, 5-speed Liberty.
Yeah.
Got a D-rotor PSI on it, so should be enough to get the job done on a 275 to run threes anyway, I reckon.
Yeah. The guys over in the States are doing that pretty conservatively, hey?
Yeah, I mean they got 4.9s and C rotors, but I think over here with our tracks and stuff, I think, you know, a D rotor with a 4.8, plus you can get more parts for a 4.8 as well.
So for someone that doesn't know enough about the difference between a D rotor and a C rotor, is there much difference between those?
Mate, I build swimming pools, so I couldn't tell you.
Now,
I'll be honest.
On that note, Simon O'Carroll, you got to get a pool, but you can't get one apparently.
Apparently, yeah. 2035. Apparently, if you ask Diggles.
He's a good man. What's the combo, like this goal with it? Just run threes consecutively.
Run threes on a 275 radial.
Yep.
I've actually got some 10.5s now as well. Not sure. Just sort of build it to do a few different things with it.
Yep.
You know, I might do a bit of Pro Mod racing with it.
Australian Pro Mods have gotten quite big in the past couple of years. Yeah. A lot of cars coming out.
Yeah, it's run at national meetings now, so it's pretty cool.
Would you take it to America?
Definitely. That's sort of the end goal, to take it over there. And
how much better are the tracks compared to, say, our best ones here compared to theirs? Like, I mean, you've been over there, you've experienced it.
Yeah, I don't think the tracks are better. I think they're just maybe the prep side of things. I mean, been doing it for years and years, so the prep side of it maybe a little bit better. Maybe the times of the day that they actually run as well. Like you go to Texas, you know, that race in Texas I'm going over to end of March. They start that at night and they'll just run that right through the night until they get the race finished, you know.
They could be going till the sun comes up, sort of.
Yeah, well, the last race, Big Jake's race, they ran till 9 o'clock the next morning.
Wow.
So I think it's probably not so much. I think the track prep's probably got a bit to do with it, but also the timing that they run the cars as well.
So for the air quality and stuff like that.
They pick the times when they run the cars and make sure that the cars are going to go down the track.
Of course. It feels like watching it almost looks like every single car goes down.
Pretty much. But I mean, you got to remember they're basically doing it, well, most of the guys are doing it nearly every weekend, or not every weekend, but compared to us, you know, that do it 5, 6, 7 times a year. You know,
we'd be sick to do that every week.
These guys are doing it at least once a month, you know, if not 2 or 3 times a month. So.
Mate, what made you get into cars? I'm just looking around, there's some old classics here. Have some of these been with you for a while, or how did you get into it?
The blown Tirana I've had for 20 years now. So that's the OG streeter that we've got.
Rat bag, number plate, how'd that come about?
I don't know, we just named it Rat Bag. 20 years ago, I always had a bit of a thing with number plates, so we named that one the Rat Bag.
And that was the first car?
That was the first car. Did that 20 years ago. I built that car to run 10 seconds, drive it to the track, drive it home, run 10s with a big block. Originally had a Marty White big block Chev in it, just a pretty basic sort of combo.
And 20 years ago, 10-second street car, that was the thing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, you know. We got it down to like a 920 now, but it's still got all the standard suspension and everything in it that it had back then.
Over 3,000 pounds?
Oh, it would be easy, It's got 2 fuel tanks, because I never took the original fuel tank out because I didn't like the look of the big space under the back. It's got a fuel cell, full interior, console, roll cage. I mean, apart from the blower hanging out of the bonnet, it doesn't get much more streetable than that.
I feel like those old classic cars, you can have the big hat out the bonnet and cops probably look at it and give you more of a thumb up. Or?
Pretty much get left alone, you know, unless you're doing something wrong, sort of time and a place for that sort of stuff, 100%. You know, but I've never been hassled.
What's the most favourite car in here?
Probably my old wagon.
Really?
To be honest.
Right, why?
Well, I don't know. I just like going out cruising in that. It's got,
Yep.
you know, it makes nearly 1,000 horsepower at the flywheel. Probably would if you put a bit of timing in it, but we've always kept it safe. It's only got about 27, 28 degrees timing in it. Big block Chev, you can drive it everywhere. It does get a little bit warm on a hot day, but
Yep.
you pull up, run the water pump for 5 minutes, cool it down and go again. And
I never would have picked it, eh? I would have, of all these nice cars that are sitting here, which we'll have a look at in a minute, I never would have thought the old Kingswood.
The old wagon, I love the old wagon. That was a car, I bought that as a 6-cylinder. It was originally, it came from Inverell. Old lady had it on a farm there. She was carting hay bales around with it, and it was pretty much retired, and it was just used as a farm car to cart hay bales around. And
Sure.
Guy up here, he bought it, and he had a few project cars and wanted to offload it, and I picked that up. I don't know, I think it was probably 10 years ago now. Drove it around for a little while. It was pretty boring with a 6-cylinder and a traumatic in it. Gearbox was a little bit lazy and was all right once you got up to 100 k's on the highway, cruise along.
But something like that, probably not safe. But
It took a little while to get to 100 k's, and then I pulled the race motor out of, well, I built this street motor originally years ago. That's the motor that's in the wagon now. I built that for the 4-door Tirana, the original Notorious, and ended up buying Simon Krieger's nitrous motor. So the old motor was just sitting here, the Kingswood was sitting here, and one day a couple of us sort of looking at it and went, you know, let's chuck that in that. So
and it fit.
it did once Craig Walpole at Extreme Custom Engineering got hold of it.
Yep.
He made it all fit.
Made it fit,
and,
yep.
Yeah, did a beautiful job of doing all the work, did all the exhaust and everything on it. So yeah, it's a pretty cool car to cruise in.
And you said you've run times in that. Was it con racing that at Kenda?
Yeah, he raced that at Kenda. We went in
the shootout.
Yeah, the 25 grand was it?
Yep.
640 class.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yep.
But yeah, we went all right in that.
Yep.
Went a couple of rounds, I think. But I ran it once at the track. It went 620. I didn't think it'd go that fast, and I took it home because it doesn't have a roll cage and stuff in it. So we've tried to slow it down a little bit, but I don't know. It's just a cool old cruiser now, I reckon.
What's more fun to drive? Something like that you just get in, chuck the seat on, or one of the proper race cars? What do you get more enjoyment out of?
Proper race car, 100%.
Just for the adrenaline rush.
Yeah, like that's cool to cruise on the street, but if I had a choice, go out cruising for the weekend or go racing, I'm going racing, 100%.
Yeah. So why nitrous?
I don't know what the thing is with nitrous. I think probably because not a lot of people do it. We're sort of like the black sheep. I don't know. I love seeing the car going down the track with flames every time we do a run at night.
That does look cool. The photos this thing puts out.
Yeah, always ask the boys, do we have candles? They're like, yeah, man. Cool.
Yeah, that is sick.
That's just something different, but when you want to go fast, screw blower's the way to go, I think. You can go fast with a big nitrous deal, but...
Bro, you forgot the best power out of it. You forgot the turbos.
Turbos? Nah, not interested. Turbos are for the...
They're out the front?
Yeah, for the diesel out there.
Now, will the young fellas get in these eventually and start driving around?
Well, hopefully that's the plan. I think they're stuck on their bloody computer games at the moment, but I'm hoping once they get their licences. Tommy's just started driving. I've been teaching him in my little Hilux Ute, which is a manual.
Yep.
I said, if you're going to learn to drive, you'll learn to drive in a manual so you can drive anything. So he's enjoying that. I think once they actually start getting out and driving, 100%. They'll probably start enjoying cars a little bit.
Yeah. I went and had a drive on like a simulator the other day, thinking, this will be all right, pretty straightforward. I know how to drive. Jumped on Queensland Raceway racetrack because I was like, I know the track. Yeah. Mate, I spent more time doing 360s in the sand
I've
than I
done
did.
that too, eh?
It's actually quite hard. But there's kids doing that and then they think, I know how to drive, and they'll go out to the racetrack and be fucked.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but...
Yeah, no, I've had a go at that simulator. And
What are your thoughts? Do you think it's close to the feeling of driving or nothing like it?
I don't know, because I've never driven one of those V8 supercars like you get on those simulators.
Yeah.
I reckon they would be pretty tough to drive,
Yeah.
but whether a simulator's close to it or not, I'm not sure.
Mate, what made you get into drag racing?
I grew up in a country town, and basically you got your licence, you got a V8, you generally lost your licence straight away. I know I did.
How many times?
I'm on my 4th licence, but I've had that licence now for 25 years.
You've got
I think, so.
bit wiser.
I got a bit wiser, Yep. We did silly things out in the country. There wasn't a lot to do out there, and
I feel like back in those times you probably would have got away with a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, clearly not if you lost your licence.
Yeah, not really. In a little country town, like the first time I got pulled up, the cop said, mate, your car stands out like dog's balls. You play up, we're going to cut the dog's balls off. So took me in a room, showed me some videos and stuff, which is what they did back in the day, and
right.
bad accidents and that sort of thing. And I sort of really didn't learn much from that though. But
did you show him some videos of you doing some skiing? That was probably before.
I still did stupid shit after that.
Course.
But anyway, we survived. Some people didn't in the country town I grew up in. But
mate, what's coming up 2025 for the business? Carroll Pools. What do you got on?
We're booked up for the first half of the year so far, which is a good spot to be in, which is normally the case at this time of the year. But yeah, just hopefully the weather's a bit kinder than it was at the end of last year. It was shit at the end of last year.
Well, I feel like as we look out here, it's not that bad, but you see some of those random planes with leaving all their dust floating around, you know, and then you can predict 3 days later.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it normally works.
And that messes you up business-wise.
Yeah, the end of last year was really tough. I think we had,
just at Christmas time, wasn't it? It just pissed down.
Yeah, we had about 4 weeks of rain in 6 weeks, and trying to get stuff finished for Christmas is always the most stressful time, trying to get pools finished for Christmas for everyone, so they're swimming for Christmas. I saw a video you had a tarp up over a pool somewhere while it was being laid. Yeah, so we ran the gauntlet with that one. It was for a house builder. They sort of gave us a week to come in, do our bit and get out again so they can start building the house this year, and didn't have a whole lot of choice there. So we went in and we got the job done anyway, but yeah, it was definitely a bit of a struggle.
How good. Mate, the Malibu, tell me some stories.
G-body?
The G-body. I love these cars. When I was looking at buying a car, it was either that, or not that exact car, but that style, or the Fox body. I love these things.
They've got a bit of a cult following in the States. I've been following the old G-body for years over there, the Buicks and
Have you seen the Thunder Alley one, the big thing with the blower out the bonnet, black thing, skid car?
Yeah, I reckon, was there a video of that on the street somewhere
Pumping
at some stage?
skids everywhere?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I was always looking around. I was looking over in the States all the time. I thought one day I'll bring one out, and I was always on Marketplace and looking them up and stuff. And then one day this one here popped up, and turned out it was at Tweed Heads. And it was actually when COVID was on. There's a bit of a story with that. So I had to go down. I went down and looked at it. Made the guy a bit of an offer over the phone, and we sort of started talking and that, and it's all genuine, all original, doesn't really get much more original apart from me lowering it a bit and chucking some wheels on it, but when I got it was original.
That would have been a testing time to try get down to have a look at it, or?
So I went down the coast. He was on one side of the border, I was on this side of the border. It was pretty weird because I pulled up and all it was some bollards in between the border.
But you were safe.
And
you were safe.
Yeah, I was safe. The COVIDs weren't going to get me. Apparently.
1.5.
So he was on one side. He said, "Come up and have a look at the car," and I was like, and ahhing because I didn't want to get stuck over the border, and I knew what it was like back then. It was a load of bullshit, and they were locking people down in borders and you know, across the border and stuff. So anyway, I went up and had a look at it, and we started it up, and he said, "Oh, I'll take you for a run down the highway." I said, "Nah." I said, "Mate, I've got a business to run." I said, I can't get stuck down here. So I said, "Yep, I'll buy it," and chucked it on a tilt truck and brought it home. And yeah, apparently it come from Perth originally, and one of the bike clubs over there owned it and run around in it. I'm sure it'd tell some stories.
I feel like cars with that age, they generally have a few stories to tell. Should we show them? Let's have a look at it. We'll go for a bit of a walk around it. What do you reckon? I love these things.
It is one of my favourite cars, the old G-body. There's not many around out here.
And what year model?
It's an 81 Malibu. It's actually a Landau, so it's got all the extra shit on it I don't use. It's got cruise control and all that stuff on it. I don't even know if it works. I've never really used it.
All genuine dash, still in miles and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, well, it was converted to right-hand drive. Apparently 30 years ago, they brought a few of them out here and converted them to right-hand drive down in Melbourne or Adelaide, somewhere down there. And I reckon it's a pretty good conversion, what they've done.
That would have been a massive job.
I found out recently that it's got, the seats in it aren't original. I was trying to find out what the seats were. Apparently they're out of a Nissan 300 ZX from around the 90s or something.
Sure.
And I broke a side mirror recently, and I got onto a mate over in the States who's got a Malibu over there, and I said, "Oh, do you reckon you can chase up a mirror for me?" And he come back to me and he said he doesn't think it's original, and I'm starting to think now it might be just a GDS mirror.
Sure.
Like looking at it, I didn't even really think of it back then, but I'm not sure what the mirrors are, but sure I can chase one up.
Do not lower the windows if you're doing more than 120 mile an hour. Why are you going to get sucked out, or?
Yeah, I don't know. It's got some weird stuff in it, eh? Yeah. You start it up and it tells you to fasten your seatbelts on the dash and stuff.
It knows what's happening.
Yeah, it knows, yeah.
Let's have a look at this thing here, mate, the old faithful, eh?
Yep.
Big block, blower.
No blower, it's all naturally aspirated. It's a Jack Brothers motor. Steve Jack built that motor for me quite a few years back now. built that for the Tirana.
Yep.
And it was built originally as a street motor, and then I bought a race car and I put it in that. And so anyway, I bought a race motor for the Tirana, and it ended up in a street car eventually anyway.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's E85, cruised along pretty nice.
These didn't come out with a bench seat, or they?
It actually does. I think
Yep.
the bench seats. I think it's down at my warehouse.
Are you allowed to race these with a bench seat, or?
No.
Yep. Yep.
I don't. No, I don't think so. Well, you can. You can go so fast, I
Of
guess.
course.
But yeah, I pulled the bench out and put some buckets in it just with the shifter. I've still got the bench here. It might go back in it one day. But I bought a full interior off a guy up the coast, and
Yep. Venetians and all.
yeah,
Mate, how good.
yeah, it's pretty cool, eh? Mini tubs and stuff in it. You gotta go down and have a look at the exhaust. The exhaust on it's a work of art. Craig at Extreme Custom Engineering did the exhaust on it. It's all stainless, dual 4-inch. Puts out a pretty good note.
Yeah, I bet.
You know it's coming.
Now the number 2, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, at the moment, I guess number 2. This is the car we bought. I bought this. So I bought it off. It was originally Dale Duffy's car, and then he sold it. Went through a few owners, and
He's had a few of these style of cars, or no?
Who's
There's
that?
another one.
Dale?
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay. I must be thinking about someone else.
No, I bought it off a guy down in Sydney, so he ended up with it. Not long after I crashed the 4-door, this came up for sale. I was sort of looking around for a Tirana, a half-decent body that already was caged and had a bit of work done to it to put my combo in out of the 4-door, so I could get back out to the track pretty quick. And this came up, the price was right, and I grabbed it. I bought it as a rolling shell, no engine, no gearbox, no wiring in it.
That's right, because I remember coming out here one time and this thing was just a shell, and you were going to go race Jambo a couple of weeks afterwards, and I thought you were going to do it the next year. Yeah.
I set it straight up from Sydney to a good mate of mine, Louis Galea. He painted it black for me. He's looked after all my cars for years, painting and stuff. And
how hard are they to keep clean though?
Oh, nightmare. It'll only be clean for a day. So painted it black, and then we got all the running gear in it in about 10 days with the help of a few good mates. My Notorious race team, Grant and JP and Big Steve, Dave, probably a few other people involved. Josh Ward did a lot of work on it. He was here every day for 10 or 12 days doing changing all the tin work, the carbon inside, made it all pretty.
Can we have a look inside there?
Yep. So originally it had where all the carbon sheeting is, it was all tin work.
How much of a difference has that made for weight, or is it purely just aesthetics?
Oh, yeah, it would have made a fair bit of difference for weight as well.
And a lot of bar work.
A lot of bar work. That was already all in there, which was good. So yeah, it's a nice car to drive compared to the old 4-door that with stock suspension. This is full chassis. It's like a limo to drive compared to the
straight off
other
the trailer,
car.
you were like already getting after it, sort of 420s, 430s.
We went for, I think first radial meeting we went 450s.
Okay.
452, which was pretty good. We're still trying to run a 6 with it, which is what I was trying to do with the 4-door. I've gone, first time out, I can't even remember now. A bit of a blur, this car
Done
this
that
year.
many passes, hey?
This whole year's just been a bit of a blur, to be honest. After crashing the car and getting this going and doing this and everything else.
Let's have a look at the, what have you called it? The Kraken.
The Kraken.
This for me is the pinnacle.
Yeah, that's sort of the final stage for me, I guess. You only go to a Pro Mod from here with a car with doors, and not overly interested to go to that level at the moment.
Kai Kelly's just gone and run with the Pro Mod boys in a steel reef and quarters car.
Yeah, with a shorter wheelbase than this, so.
Yeah, wow.
Never know where you might end up with it.
And the colour, I've got to ask, how did you come to work out that you want to do this? Because I feel like no matter what way we put this camera, it changes
get a different colour.
Like my personality.
So there's a bit of a story. Originally, I had a colour picked out, and then my mate in the States, Justin Swanstrom, bought his new car out, Bad Blood. And it was pretty much the same colour as I was going to do this car, and I went, I can't do that, everyone's going to think I've copied him. But that was the original plan, to do it that colour, and so I started looking at different colours and wanted to do something different, and I stumbled across this on the internet. A few cars in the States had done it. I think there's maybe a handful of cars, there's a couple of Commodores and stuff out here, and I thought that'll look pretty cool, so yeah, that's what I'd come up with, and it's good, it changes whatever angle you stand at, it changes colours.
I'm hoping that the camera can capture this, but
I think at night time, going down the track with the lights on it, you're going to see about 5 different colours, which will be pretty cool.
Like just looking at it now, there's purple, orange.
The bronzy colour is the colour I like the best in it.
Which one?
The bronzy, it's got that real goldy bronzy colour in it.
Even a little bit of a tinge of green on some of the angles, you can see a bit. And 275, you said that's going to be?
275, that's my goal, to run a 3 on 275s. We've got 10.5s on it at the moment. The car was originally a 10.5 car when it first came to Australia.
It's been here for a little while, this car?
Yeah, it's been out here since about, I think, my brother actually brought it out. Him and Krieger brought it out.
Yep.
In, I think, around 2010. It was
Yep.
a 10.5 car over there. I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head that owned it, but it was like a flat black colour with
Yep.
white stripes, and they brought it over here. They went pretty quick. They went, back then, 15 years ago, I think they went 660s on a 10.5,
Yep.
which was pretty cool. It was a pretty fast car.
I can't wait to hear the sound of it when you fire this thing up. Like,
Yeah, I reckon
the
the neighbours are going to be impressed too.
I think the whole neighbourhood's going to love this thing, mate. And the best thing about it, you've got the gym down the back too. How good is that? The boys
Yep,
out the back there normally pumping it.
Get the boys in there. You've been helping out with that, which has been good. Got Prodigy
what
personal
we do.
training involved.
Do you reckon the Camaro's ever going to get some laps or?
Oh, look, I'm trying to bloody put some power into it. I actually put a cam in it, snuck a cam in it, and exhaust. Terry up at Paramount did that for a birthday last year. But
That's a pretty good birthday present.
yeah, it needs a blower, I
Yep.
reckon. The
Yep.
Commodore's got a blower. It needs something like what's in the Commodore, I reckon.
Yep.
It's just the bloody thing weighs 4,000 pounds. I mean, what do you do with a car that weighs that much? You got to put some bloody horsepower in it.
Or just roll the window down, put your arm up on this hill and just cruise.
Yeah, just cruise.
Yep.
It's not a bad old thing. It's pretty cool. It's still got fairly low Ks.
They brought them out here or no? You had to import them.
So that one, the guy actually brought it out here. I brought that for the wife's 50th birthday 4 years ago.
How good.
And that was her dream car. She always said, "Oh, buy me a Camaro, buy me a Camaro."
Yep.
But she didn't like all the new Camaros because the whole front of them's a bit squashed. And
Yep.
They don't look as good, but she likes the old Bumblebee.
Bumblebee's the best.
Bumblebee, we've actually named this one Murder Bee because it was murdered out when we bought it. Was all blacked out and everything, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love the look of them, hey.
Bit of a cam, and it makes close to 500 at the tyres now. It's good for her. It's enough power for her to drive anyway, I reckon.
And then you just got the Commodore limited edition.
So when they announced that they weren't making any more V8 Commodores, the VF was going to be the last one. I said I reckon they just got it perfect. I reckon the last Commodore they nailed it. Up until then they were all pretty good, but there's little things I could always pick. But when they brought the VF out, I thought they'd nailed that. I'm going to buy one of them and just store it away, and it's still got low Ks on it. It's only, I think it's just clocked over 40,000.
Beautiful.
But yeah, it's nice to drive, 6-speed. It makes 680, I think, at the tyres.
The Walkinshaw package or whatever they did.
With a manual in it.
And the
gearbox.
The thing up on the hoist there,
Yeah, that's the old sad story. That's the OG Notorious.
How when it all come unstuck for you, like talk us through it. What went through your head and how quickly did it all turn pear-shaped for you?
You don't even get a chance to think about it when you're doing that sort of speed. So
talk us through it. What happened?
Okay, so we actually went down to Sydney. We weren't even supposed to be at the racetrack that day. Went down to Sydney. We'd been at, I think, the Street 20 event prior to that, which got rained out. They continued it on for another day. My crew had to go home. My truck driver had to go home. So I ended up staying the extra day.
Because you were chasing that 6, weren't you?
Yeah, we were trying to run that 6-second pass. A few of the boys down in Sydney, Craigs and Johnny Abib and that, come and helped me out, and we stayed on. The rest of the crew went home. We didn't get a lot of passes in that day. We ended up leaving the car down there in the truck at Krieger's work, and there was a test day came up in December. I missed the test spot. I was trying to get a test spot because the car was down there, but we missed out. Anyway, me and a mate of mine, guy that digs my pools, Marty, we flew to Sydney, and he said, "I'll drive the truck home with you." Got off at Wollongong Airport, got a call from someone at the track, and they said, "Oh, we've got a spot opened up. We heard you wanted to test." And I went, "Hell yeah, don't have to ask me
100%.
twice." Went to the track with basically no crew. Got a few ring-ins. Cam Riley brought his mates, and Con came down, and probably shouldn't have been there. Probably wasn't the best idea.
But any time to race, you're always keen.
Yeah, I won't say no. That's the hardest thing. Say no going to the track.
Did you have a feeling that something was up, or you just?
No, I never had a feeling of everything felt good. But at the end of the night, we done 703, 703, 703. I don't know how many times. Last run of the night, we put a fair bit more gas in it. I was tired. Bloody left home early that morning. Probably wasn't in the right frame of mind. Picked the wheels up, drove towards the centre line. Voice in my head saying, "Get off, get off, get off." The other voice is saying, "Carry the wheels, and this is the one."
It's going.
and then next thing you're into the wall. Like it's like that, man.
And it banged the body up pretty bad, hey?
Yeah, it banged me up pretty bad.
Yeah.
I was out of action. Sort of wasn't too bad at first. I had cracked ribs, which I got through that, and then I ended up with delayed whiplash. I ended up with nerve damage in my neck, which they said was from the crash, and then it started getting worse and worse as time went on, and sort of got to a point where I couldn't work anymore, and well, physically work. I was trying to run the business, but I couldn't sleep at night. I'd go 4 or 5 nights without sleep, and you turn into a zombie. And
then you're counterproductive too, because you always wanted to sleep.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, to be honest, man. It wasn't a good time mentally for me. It was a terrible time in my life. I wouldn't wish it on anyone to go through.
Got in and seen Jimmy.
Got in and seen you. Actually put me on to Jim Bostock, Bostock Institute, and what I spent thousands of dollars on with cortisone shots and tests and x-rays and everything else with the doctors, and basically they just said you just go on pain medicine and not much we could do.
They don't ever want to cure you though.
No.
They just want to keep you medicated so you keep spending money.
Went in, showed Jim my doctor's reports. He basically threw it on the ground and said, well, I'll get you sorted in 3 sessions. If I can't sort you today, it'll be 3 sessions. And he pretty much guaranteed me, and he was spot on.
Big Jim Bostock, let's give him a plug. How good the man.
Yeah. Absolute legend. Like, I can't thank the guy enough.
Yeah.
You know, I think 6 weeks later I was back in a race car and racing again, and just changed my whole life around from where I was at before I went and seen him. Yeah, the poor old car's pretty banged up, but
will you ever do something with that again? Or?
Definitely, 100%.
Yep.
One day, it can just sit on ice for a little while now, and
probably needs a bit of ice to calm itself down. It looks pretty sore.
But I think we were pushing the boundaries with a stock suspension car. But I think
that's what motorsport's about, but right, like you push the envelope. Yeah.
I mean, doing what we were doing. Went 703 at 194 mile an hour. I think that last pass, I put it down to driver error more than anything. Yeah. I should have got off it early, but being the last pass of the night, I thought if I can carry this through, this is the 6-second pass. It felt good. All the early numbers on the time slip showed that it probably would have run a 6, but it wasn't to be that day. But I'd never give up. I'm like a dog with a bone. I put the running gear in the hatchback now, and I'm trying to do the same thing again, which is probably a bit safer car. And that thing honestly drives like a limo compared to that going down the track, where the damn thing's trying to pull itself apart on the quarter mile. Doing that speed, but
100%. Mate, so 2 questions I always ask. A piece of advice you could give yourself 5 years ago?
Geez, I don't know, to be honest. I'm sort of living a bit of a dream. I work really hard to have what I've got and to do what I want to do. So I don't know, work hard, which is what I've done. I don't know, I couldn't really give myself.
I feel like you have to work hard to even have one of these, but to have something multiple trying to do it. Like, you've obviously got to be doing something right.
Yeah, just keep plugging away.
Just the Aussie battler, eh?
Just work hard, have a dream, and no matter what, just work hard to get to where you want to get to. I'm almost there to where I want to get to. I don't know sort of where I'd go from there, but.
Did you ever think you'd get to this level?
No. If you'd have told me 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when I was trying to build a 10-second car and drive it to the track and drive it home, that I'd have something like that, every time I come out of the shed, I've got to pinch myself. And
brother, I probably I wouldn't even sleep in my bed. I reckon I'd put my bed out here to sleep next to that, you know what I mean? It's such a beautiful looking car. Where you reckon you'll be in another 5 years then?
Who knows?
Transporter, travelling to America, doing Street Outlaws? You could be the Aussie invader.
I don't know about that.
You've done a few trips over there.
Yeah, I have.
You've been fortunate enough to be on the piss with the Swanstroms and asleep probably 3/4 of the videos?
Yep. The jet lag bloody gets to you over there, though, I tell you.
I remember when you were over there and just looking, I was actually looking forward to the live streams, because we'd be like, what's Carroll up to today? And you'd see him at a random bar or whatever it was. It was a good time.
It's good. I met those guys when they come over here. We raced them for Street Outlaws over here, and what a top bunch of people. Like, they've treated me. I've been over there twice now. I've been over with Swanstroms last year, Corey and Justin. They took me along. They treated me like family. They invited me over. Same with Kai and his crew. I get over there. They give me my own personal space to sleep in and a bed, and I can't say enough about them.
That's what drag racing should be, hey?
Yeah, people think they're these big TV stars and whatever, and they might be, but you know what? They're normal people like us, and they treat us like normal people.
They too were probably once at the level that you were, just racing back on the street or whatever.
We're just chipping away. They're just fortunate enough that the sport's so big in their country that they can actually do it and make a living out of it, whereas over here, we're going to make a living doing something else and do 80, 90 hours a week to pay for it.
Well, this is just a hobby for us. Like, I don't think anywhere else in the world, I don't know, you spend all this time working to blow so much money, even though it's fun, on race cars, just to have some fun.
Yeah,
Like, it'd be nice to get paid.
Yeah.
I mean, you win all the events all the time with some of these up here, so.
Yeah, but what you spend to get to the track.
Of course.
Is, compared to over there, like Big Jake's race last year, I think Justin came away, around 250 grand American with his.
How much would he have tipped in over the years just to get to that, but to be that competitive?
He's done it pretty smart. He's still a young guy. He's working hard. He's always chipping away. You can't fault the guy for what he does.
Work ethic like nothing else.
Yeah, same with Kai. Like they don't stop, man. They're just fortunate enough to be able to go to the track as much as they do and pick up sponsors along the way, whereas it's hard for us to get sponsors over here because we're, drag racing's so small in this country.
We just don't have the people yet.
Yeah.
Now, mate, 3 cars. I'm pretty sure I'm going to know some of the answers to these already, but Ultimate Daily, the race car, and then what I've called the fuck you car. What would you choose?
Ultimate race car?
It can be absolutely anything. What would your choice be?
Probably that Camaro over there.
Yeah, that'd be most people's choice.
To be honest.
Definitely.
Yeah, like when I bought that, I bought Perry Bullivant's 2000 Camaro, and I'm not a late model sort of car guy.
That was the guy I was thinking of with the Tirana. He's had heaps of those, same style of those.
Yeah. Yes. Well, he owned the Tirana that Webby's got now. He's got that car.
Yes, that's the one.
So I bought the 2000 Camaro off him because I wanted to go faster, and the rules were starting to change a bit, and we were struggling like with a stock suspension car and racing in a class where all the guys were running 4 links now, and we were starting to fall behind a little bit, and they changed the rules, so I went and got Perry's car and. But I don't know, man, it just wasn't me. Like, it wasn't an old school car. And when I just happened to stumble across the Camaro, George had bought it off Kyle, but he only wanted it for the running gear and all the electronics out of it. Ended up back at Kyle's. I happened to be there, the day that it ended up back at Kyle's, and asked him what was going on there. And anyway, we put together a bit of a deal. Kyle sort of helped me out there, and we put together a deal with George and ended up with the car. And
perfect.
Yeah, like I stumbled across it, and I was like, oh shit, if I'd have waited another 2 months, I could have bought that. But yeah, we put a few things together. Ended up selling Perry's car to Ned Amy, who's now got it over in the States and got a diesel motor in it.
Oh wow!
And running no time over there with that car. I don't know if a lot of people know about that, but Ned's over there.
They're pretty big with their diesel stuff now.
Chipping away. He's got the big Duramax motor in it.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool, like, to see that.
What was that last big event they had there? No Mercy. There was a couple of cars there that were diesel.
Yeah.
Big, like, ute-looking sooters just hammering down there, like, competitive.
Doing like I think they're going 4.0s, maybe even into the 390s now. It's pretty crazy.
That's
for
impressive.
Diesel, eh?
Yeah, that's impressive. Mate, I can't even get my Fox body to do that.
I wouldn't like to be the next car in line that runs and has to suck in the air after they go down the track. That's the only thing.
So that's the race car. The daily, what would if
daily?
Yeah.
So the ultimate daily for me would be probably an SLR 5000 with the running gear out of my Commodore in it.
Really? Aircon or no aircon?
No, I don't need aircon. I couldn't have aircon in an old car. I like to have the window down and fat arm it, cruise around. But yeah, something like that with a manual. SLR 5000 with a manual in it, 700 horsepower with a manual in a light car like that you can just jump in, turn the key and drive every day. Yeah, that'd be a bit. I've always been a fan SLR 5000 since I was a kid. I remember my sister boyfriend, I think back when I was about 4 years old, turned up at home in this SLR 5000 black and white thing, and ever since then I've always loved those cars. I've always been a Tirana fan. I've had heaps of Tiranas.
How many have you owned?
Tiranas?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to say at least a dozen. Over the years. LJs,
everyone's
LCs.
just progressively getting faster.
Yeah.
What's the favourite shape for you, SLR?
Favourite shape for me is that 4-door. My first Tirana was a red LH Tirana. And when I first moved to Brisbane, I was 18 and I didn't have a licence, and I got my licence back, and I got a job working on a chicken farm down here at Park Ridge. And I think I was down here 3 days, and I just got my licence back, and I drove it down from Mum and Dad. I was living at the Sunshine Coast then with Mum and Dad. I moved up from Forbes. And I didn't know it was actually Marsden I was staying at with friends, working at a chicken farm at Park Ridge. I didn't know Marsden from Hamilton and didn't know about crime and stuff growing up in the country, and I drove this car down for work, came down for 2 weeks work or whatever, and I was down there 3 days and it got stolen. And I never saw it again, and I was gutted. I never forgot it.
Yeah, I bet.
I don't know where it is now. It's probably floating around Brisbane somewhere.
Probably.
Who knows? But yeah, we looked for that car. We went through the army barracks bush, and we went everywhere looking for that car for 2 weeks straight and never found it. But yeah, I never got over that. But that's always been my favourite shape car.
Sure.
No flares. I'd actually rather it with no flares. If I was going to have a daily and have something with a manual, something that did corners and everything, I'd have an SLR, like with flares and big tyres and everything. But as a drag car, I still love, like I'd have the 4-door over the hatchback any day of the week. Although I do love this car because I feel like
the shape of it looks more like a race car.
It does look more like a race car, but I've always liked the 4-door because it's like Charlie Brown in the States.
Yeah.
No one expects something like that to go fast.
And then you just put a Christmas tree on the roof.
That's a cool car, right? You can't deny that. Charlie Brown, that's a badass car, right? I actually hung out with those guys over there last year at Kentucky, and they were cool guys, and we got chatting and stuff, and we swapped shirts. I was showing them my 4-door car, and they were like, yeah, that's cool, man. And
mate, anyone that's willing to strap a tree to the roof of their race car and cut a lap, mate.
660s on the bottle.
Crazy.
Goes all right, eh?
So, the fuck you car then, what would it be?
The fuck you car? I don't know. I'd like to do something with that Malibu one day, eh?
Big blower out the bonnet, zoomies.
That'd be pretty cool. Oh, no, I think a G-body has to be a nitrous car, eh?
Turbos, did you say?
No. No turbos. Come on, man. I thought you got a blower now.
I do. I've converted to the dark side, but I just love that feeling of when the
boost comes on.
You're bumping, and when, Yeah. One thing I've noticed with the blown thing I've got now, like I don't feel like it hits as hard as when those turbos are sucking you back in the chair at the 330. It still pulls you, but there's just not quite that same.
Well, Kai Kelly recently drove a turbo car, so I guess anything could happen, eh? You never know. You might see me in a turbo car one day.
Did he like it?
Oh, well, I don't know. He might have done. He's probably not going to admit it, though.
Nah, for sure.
But no, I don't know. Yeah, I would still love, like I love nitrous car. I don't know what it is about a nitrous car. I love watching a nitrous car go down the track. I'd watch a nitrous car go down the track over a screw-blown car any day of the week. I love the flames. I love the sound of a big cube nitrous motor. You know, I think if I was ever going to do a Pro Mod, I reckon it would have to be a nitrous Pro Mod. There's something about it.
Like a engine or something like that.
Something big, bad, loud. When you're on the start line, you hear those big cube motors, That's just, I mean, a blower's loud. A blower's just loud and obnoxious and angry.
It's not the same as a nitrous.
The nitrous motor's just got that sound about it that I just love.
So that'd be the FU car.
I reckon, nitrous Pro Mod.
Yep.
I don't know if I'll ever get to that.
Well, mate, you never thought you'd get to the Pro Mod thing, so another 5 years.
Yeah, you never know. I'll win lotto, maybe.
That's probably only, 3 pools, really, and then you're there?
Oh, no, it's three pools to bloody service, I think.
Now, speaking of pools, mate, let's give yourself another plug quickly. Where can people get a pool from you? Best way to get in contact?
So I've got a Facebook, which I don't put anything on ever because I just get inundated with Facebook messages. My phone number's on every post on there. Generally, I don't go north of the city.
Yep.
I stay south side. I've got enough work down here now.
Yep.
This is my area, my local area, Jimboomba, Greenbank, Logan Village, Mundoolan, all out here. I'm happy to go, Brisbane south side.
Yep.
I actually don't mind going west. I just don't like working in the city. It's just, I don't like the city in general, to be honest. I don't like being in the city. I don't like going to the city. It's just a shit show in there.
That's why you're out on acreage.
Rather be out here in the country.
Beautiful. So basically what you're saying is don't call you to get a pool, you've got too much work on.
Yeah.
Unless you're on this side of town.
Yeah. Ring me or send me a text message. Don't Facebook me because I won't answer Facebook messages because I get too many and I don't get on that page very often. I don't sort of chase the work,
And people, you're going to be out at the Nitro, what do they call it? What's the show?
New Year's Nitro, which was supposed to be this weekend, but has just been postponed to Australia Day weekend. We'll have a bit of merch up there. We'll have some shirts and stubby coolers and stuff.
That's what I was going with. So yeah, if they find you, make sure to go see you and get some merch.
But yeah, we've also got an online shop that's got all our merch on.
What's the shop called, mate?
It's notoriousracing.com.au.
Yep.
It's NTORIUS.
Perfect.
So not spelt the traditional notorious way.
Yep.
We've got an online shop. We've got hoodies, stubby coolers, long sleeve shirts, women's stuff, kids.
Yep. Perfect.
Beanies, hats, caps, truckers, caps.
The whole lot.
Everything's on there. We've got the Camaro, we've got the hatchback, we've got the 4-door, we've got the rat bag Tirana, we've got the wagon. We've got merch pretty much for everything. Yeah, so
get on there and get one of everything.
Support my race team.
Yeah, perfect.
Because it costs a lot of money to go
mate,
racing.
should we lock in a friendly bet for the next time we get in the lanes together?
100%. I think we had one last time and then
we did.
I
think there was technical mechanical issues.
Piston left the chat. Done itself a mischief.
So do I technically get that as a win then, or is that a did not turn up? What do you call
I don't know. I was always told if you don't make the start line, it ain't a win. The bet's off.
I'll take it to win wherever I can. What do you reckon, mate? If we pull up in the lanes in my Fox body versus the Kraken, obviously you have to be untested though, first pass.
Versus the Kraken?
Yeah. So it has to be your very first run and I have to be dialed in for 10,000.
10,000?
No. For a pool.
No, I don't know.
No bets, no bets.
I think the first pass is going to be pretty daunting in that car because it's with all that's going on.
Mate, the noises, just everything about it.
But yeah, I can't wait, to be honest. I can't wait to let go of the
When do you hope to be out in it?
Hopefully March. I was trying to make maybe the first Kenda meeting. I don't know. It's just, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on with cars like that that you don't think about when you're building them, but it's getting there. Josh has done all the wiring. Josh Ward at Pro Chassis and Fabrications done a mint job on the wiring. He's basically now, he's finishing the car off for me, doing the fuel system. Got the fuel system from Ray Bernard. He helped me out with the fuel system.
Down at Western Suburbs Diffs.
Yep.
So will you only race that this year, the Kenda rounds, or will you try have multiple cars, or what do you want to do?
I'll only race. I raced 2 cars at one round in Sydney once, and it was a shit show. Never again. I took the 4-door, or the two 4-doors. I took the blown car and that car down. It was the first time we had that on 235s. Went pretty good. We ended up with a 469 first time on 235s. The record was actually 470 when we went to the track that weekend. We're hoping to break the record, which we didn't do because someone else broke it down there. Scott Cortina and Michael Arnold both went quicker than us that weekend, but we did pretty good for our first outing on. I
feel like the 235 category back then, obviously the likes of yourself,
man, it's grown.
Then there was Cortina, and now Cam Riley's coming in, he's dominating.
It's fast. Like it's a 440. You need to be in 440s. You know,
that's
low
crazy.
450s now.
Crazy
in that class, which is pretty cool for over here. Like I don't think they're going a whole lot quicker in the States. I think the fastest they've gone over there is maybe like a 430s in the States.
I never knew. I mean, you hear 235, you think, oh yeah, cool. Well, I'll put a 235 beside a 275. It's a massive difference.
Oh
it's huge.
I was blown away how quick we got that thing down the track. Like first pass out, we went a 490. We'd never put a 235 on it before. Went 490 down the track. And
so maybe just chuck the Kraken on a 235 and stay out of the 275.
Nah.
Give us the chance.
Nah, that'll never go that small a tire. But there is a chance I may put a 235 on the hatchback. At some stage, I think. I've got some other wheels there now. I've got a few different centres and stuff that I can swap over and make some wheels work. But yeah, I might end up with 235s on that at some stage. Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you here on our episode In the Sheds. Until next time. No worries. Cheers, mate.